Good afternoon, everybody. We're so excited for you to be with us yet again for another Life on Lockdown series. So excited that you've been able to join us this afternoon where we are helping you get your life together while on lockdown. We feel like, this is a good time for you to revisit some skills, revisit some habits and mindsets while we are on this social distancing tip. And I thought it would be awesome to have our guest with us today. His name is Lamont Love, and he's going to be sharing some tips on entrepreneurship. There may be some of us in the room, the cyber room anyway, that are interested or have been mulling over starting a business, launching out on your own. Some of you might have been furloughed. I can never say it right. Furloughed, thank you, or laid off of your job altogether. And so, it's creating a unique opportunity for you to perhaps launch out on your own and start your own business, start your own venture, multiple streams of income. A lot of us have reduced pay because of what's happening. So maybe this is an opportunity for you to look into another stream of income. So I thought it would be wise to bring in somebody that can speak to that and maybe give some insight and pointers, what to do, what not to do as we lean into this season that we're in. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself and tell us who you are, and then we'll jump right in.
Hello to everyone. My name is Lamont Love. Proud to say I'm born and raised here from Wichita, Kansas. Blessed to be a part of a ministry called Life Inc. That I've had the pleasure of doing for the last 11 years. So many people wonder how I started Life Inc. Blessed to grow up with an amazing, the best single mother in the world, Miss Love, and growing up in a single parent home basically prepared me for my purpose in life. So many people, think there's a plan B, C, and D in the world for your goals or what you're supposed to pursue in life. And I disagree. There's only one plan, and that's plan A. Yeah. And I believe being blessed with an amazing mother and all the insight that I have obtained and great, amazing mentors throughout being in school. I got led to being a mentor for I got led to being a mentor working with young men since I was 18 years old, and then the doors opened for me at 21, and I continued working with young men, and I've always had insight and kind of learned from the goods, the bads, the uglies from different organizations, and they inspired me to open up my own. And at 30 years old, we started Life Inc., and we've been making an impact in young men's lives ever since.
Awesome. So how many years has Life Inc. been going on for?
It was 2008 when I initiated. I wrote it down and I made it plain, and here we are in 2020.
Wow.
That 2020 vision is in full
effect. So with all those years of running a business, what are some things that was difficult about being on your own?
Finding people that I could trust. Because you're starting a business, and if you're going to build a team and you've got to grow, you've got to put some people in the circle that you can trust and you can delegate to take on different roles, because there is no I in team. And if you try to pull that off, you'll always lose. So it took some time. And I think that was probably the biggest lesson I had to learn, was learning how to trust people and not micromanage, but learn how to delegate.
Oh yeah.
That was huge. Just be willing to delegate. Like, you're holding 3 things in your hands. Like, give one to someone else, give someone, and get it done. And then you save time too. You save time. You save a lot of time.
That's a huge lesson that I'm still learning, because I have my own business ministry as well, in addition to serving at the church. And that involves, even serving at the church involves delegation as well, that I'm learning the importance of as I'm navigating these senior pastor streets. But you speak truth, that it's so important to be willing to have other people help you. Yeah. If you want to start a business, you cannot be a one-man show.
You can't. And I think one thing I learned is just your standard determines the outcome. So if you start with a high standard, usually they'll follow the high standard. If you start with a compromise standard, they'll follow a compromise standard. And sometimes I've had fallen short, whether it was because of the relationships I had with them before they became an employee, kind of tainted my accountability that I put on them. And so lessons learned. When you walk into these doors, it's all business. It's nothing ever personal.
That's very important. So if somebody's listening and they lost their job, what would you say? And they're like, okay, well, maybe I need to start working for myself. What should they do? What should be their MO?
As I said before, in 2008, I wrote it down and I made it plain. I hear a lot of people, they say, if I had money, if I had this. The money is the very last thing you need to ever concern yourself with. Humbly, I say, as I'm going into my 5th, 6th venture right now, I never had the resources to establish them. It was always by faith. Always by faith. And so I tell anybody that, first of all, anyone that has lost their job during this time, my heart goes out to them. They're in my prayers all the time. But God didn't put you on earth to have a job in the first place. And so I think sometimes it pulled a lot of people out of their comfort zone, their place of complacencies. And it was time for them to go ahead and figure out, okay, what am I on this earth to do? We should be about intentional living. And, I think it's forcing people. I don't care if you're 20, 40, 60 years old, you were in a place of complacency for some of you. And I think it just forced people to say, you know what? Now I need to start walking by faith. I need to go ahead and write it down, make it plain, and pursue what God's called me to pursue.
You said a lot there. God did not place you on this earth to have a job. So what did he place us on earth for then?
To impact. I think we're here to do, I say it all the time, we're here to model, we're here to mentor, we're here to motivate, and we're here to multiply. That's what he did with his disciples.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to do. And so that's what we should be doing. That should be our number one thing, to provide a service to the community. I mean, people may not know about Jeff Bezos, but Jeff Bezos, the wealthiest man in the world, worth around $200 billion. His initial objective was to provide an education platform, making books accessible to anyone around the world. And then because of that, Amazon blew up, and it's the biggest company in the world now because of that. And his initial desire was just to create a platform for education. So his heart intent was sincere. And so I believe those that have a sincere intent to want to help others, the doors just always bloom. The opportunities always, the door's always open. And that's really my stance on that.
I have so many questions. Do you think that if somebody wanted to start a business, they should go into multi-level marketing, or what's the other one? There's MLMs, and then there's like the Mary Kay type stuff where you sell a product for somebody else. Or is that something that they should look into?
I love multi-level marketing.
Really?
I love multi-level marketing.
Why?
Network marketing has made more millionaires than any industry in the world, exempting real estate. I think multi-level marketing is a great opportunity. It gives someone from the ground up an opportunity to build something. I think it's amazing. I think the opportunity is amazing for anyone. I mean, the stories that I hear and the results of it are amazing to me. So yes.
Are there any downsides? Anything that we need to be aware of if somebody wanted to get into that?
No, I think, a lot of people get a sour taste in their mouth in any platform. I don't care if it's a religion, or if it's a church, or if it's a different place of business.
Yeah.
So I think, sometimes, you get left with a bad taste in your mouth, but it's like, did you put in 110% when you chose to dive into the opportunity? Did you fully jump in, fully aware of what you were doing before you made that decision? So it's on you. And so you can't, shun any opportunity that's out there. if you fully given yourself the insight, educated yourself on the pros and the cons, and then
Okay.
you jumped in. You know, I mean, you have some of the greatest entrepreneurs. They've started businesses and failed, many of them, many a times. And so if the first one doesn't work for you, then maybe that just wasn't the right fit for you. And that's okay. Lessons learned. Lessons learned.
Are there ways to vet businesses out there? There are things that they need to be looking for, like this is a legit one, this is not legit. Things they need to be looking for.
I think it comes down to your morals and values.
Okay.
Somebody asked me, would I own a McDonald's franchise? I say no. True enough, could it be truly beneficial to me from a financial stance? Yes, but I don't need it. So I'm not going to buy something that I don't need.
Right.
So it's just one of them kind of stance. You know, it's all about what you believe if you're passionate about it. Mary Kay, that's just not something I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about travel, hey, I'm passionate about travel. You want to talk about health? I'm passionate about health. So if it falls into those categories, then you've piqued my interest. That's the kind of thing. So it all comes down to your morals and values. What tugs at your heart? Some people, you know, because if money is the only thing that tugs at your heart, I don't care what platform it is, you won't stay in it long.
True.
Either you're going to burn somebody or you're going to get burned in the process if you're only motivated by money.
Like for me, I realized a long time ago that any business venture that I'm a part of needs to very much be connected to helping others, serving others. It's a bit harder for me to sell, and then this is just me, to sell products, you know, just for the sake of selling it. You know what I mean? There has to be some type of development that happens as a result of you partaking in my services. For me,
Correct.
there are other people that can, you know, sell t-shirts and well, I do sell t-shirts too, but sell like hats and, you know, all these different type of things. And it's all about turning it over as many times as possible. For me, I'd rather sell a higher ticket item that's going to bring about a major change for you than selling a lot of like smaller things. But that's just how,
Opposed to selling trinkets.
right. And that's just how I guess I arrived at how I'm going to do what I'm about to do. So I guess I'm piggybacking on what you're saying, how it is important to really think through what you value, what's important to you, how you move, like what are you passionate about? Those things are really, really important in establishing what type of business you want to start, for sure. I definitely agree. So you mentioned also writing it down. And I think a lot of people get tripped up on writing it down. I'm almost sure you're going to say what I think you're going to say. Do you need to have an elaborate business plan to get started? Like when you're talking about writing it down, what are you talking about? Getting in your phone and just taking some notes? Like what are we talking about here?
I'm talking about having a name. You got to put a name on it if you want to claim it. I'm blessed to be sitting in a building that I had looked at 3 years ago. I put a name on it. And so I believe you have to put a name on it first. You have to have a mission. You have to have a purpose. What's your target market?
Good.
And what are the services that you intend to provide?
Yes.
And so if you know those,
right,
and that demographic, the services that you're providing can complement the demographic, and you have the right location, all that's the win-win. Everything else you talk about cash flow, you'll figure that. God will help you figure that out in time. But he just wants you to move by faith. I mean, if he gave it to you, then write it down.
How specific do people need to be with their target market, you think? There's a lot of chatter in business worlds where you gotta niche down. You gotta know exactly who your people is that you're trying to serve. Are you of that mindset?
It depends what the service is. Some things are general. I mean, when you're talking about, you know, you only have a handful of people that are going to get massages on a regular basis. Those are usually your regular customers. But when it comes to a chicken sandwich and some fries, that's your general public. If you've got great presentation, more than likely somebody's going to stop by. The general public's going to stop by there at least once to try your food if you're in a great location.
Yeah. That makes sense. So get your target market demographics, get a name. And for me, sometimes I think sometimes people get hung up so much on what they're going to call it. Like, I guess what I'm piggybacking with you is like, when you write it down, believe that God has given it to you and you just operate off of what God has given and you keep it moving. Don't get so caught up in names, colors, logos, websites, and then you get so overwhelmed that you're not doing anything at all. I feel like that happens to a lot of people that want to start a business. They get so hung up on all these, the colors don't matter. Like, if your service is great, people are going to come.
They're going to come. But remember that God does have a standard. And so one thing I tell everybody is, so once you write it down and you made it plain, and you, like you said, just keep the ball rolling. Don't stand still. Nothing gets done by standing still.
Right.
An average of 30 days in a month. You take 1 hour a day, 1 hour a day for 30 days. That's 30 hours. Imagine what you can accomplish within 30 hours. You can have a full-fledged business plan. And I think the key to succeeding in life is preparation. Anyone that's successful in life, it all came down to their preparation. The opportunity. There was a young man I was watching the other day. My son had shared it with me. Last name is Morant, I think. Is an amazing basketball player. And he didn't initially get selected to go to a Division I school to play basketball. But he was in the gym practicing by himself. One of the Division I coaches went to go get some snacks. He walked past that gym that kid was in there practicing by himself, and he saw something special in that young man. In that young man, he saw preparation is what he saw. So because that kid was prepared, he received the opportunity. Therefore, now he's playing professional basketball in the NBA. And so it all comes down to preparation. Preparation is key.
Are there any negative mindsets or beliefs that you had to overcome to get to where you are today that other people may have to overcome as well?
That's the biggest one. And so that's why, COVID-19 isn't the pandemic. Mental health is the pandemic. A lot of people's their mental health isn't where it needs to be. What's my man Henry Ford said? If you think you can, you think you can't, you're probably right. And so you think you're going to die from COVID. I'm not saying that it's not real. It's very real. And I respect it. Wash my hands for at least 20 seconds. I try to keep my space. But at the same time, I solely believe those that were going to die, we're going to die today, we're going to die today. You can put a name on it if you want to. If you were going to die today, you were going to die today. Our time here on earth is short term compared to our longevity and our eternity in heaven. And so my state of mind when it comes to, that's why you have to be about intentional living. When I see someone that's living to be 90 years old, I said, that's someone that's living intentionally. Why has God allowed someone to live 90 and you got infants dying at 3 months and a year? Maybe they've made that impact. Maybe they made the greatest impact they could have ever made on earth just for that 3 months. Who's to say? But when you see someone that God has allowed to live for 90 years, man, they've got to be about some intentional living for God to still have them here. Either he knows they have a great work to do still, or they're in that space and they're doing it.
So go ahead.
I think you have to position yourself to be valued. You have to position yourself to be valued. And the reality of it is, I think a lot of people have not positioned themselves to be valued. I tell my children all the time, there's plenty of pigeons, few eagles. And so there's nothing good, I tell my children all the time, I always ask them, how was school today? And they say, good. I said, good is average. I said, we don't do average. And so you got to be about greatness. And so I think it's just state of mind. It always goes back to that belief, the state of mind. This is everything. This is your heartbeat. This goes hand in hand. And so when that's all laid out, I think that's when you set yourself up for the win. But yeah, I had to overcome some insecurities, and I still do sometimes.
Like
But
what?
that's why sometimes, I think the numbers go up. So when you start a business and you might start your first initial business, and it might take X amount of dollars to get this one started, and you say, okay, I can see those numbers, and then it's clear to you, right? And then you go to the next one. It's gonna cost a little bit more. I'm gonna need to rob Peter to pay Paul to pull this one off, but I'm still gonna pay my tithes and offering. But I'm
Right.
still, but I got to balance that part out. But then when you start looking at some big numbers that you never seen before, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. But then, you keep on moving by faith, and he honors it. And so now, humbly, then once you get to that space, then you get some calluses on your hands and your mind, and you say, man, now I know I can go do this next one. Easy. But so I feel like, God does not lie. That's the one thing he don't do. And so I can't focus on what man's going to do for me, but all I know is what God's promised me. And because I know what God's promised me, now my faith has grown stronger, and I know the outcome.
Yeah.
I know the outcome. I know I don't own anything here on this earth. He just found me worthy as the vessel to be able to perform his acts of service on earth. He's just using me. And so I think if you're willing to the more you're willing to make yourself available to God to perform those acts of service, to impact the world with his word, with his love, with his peace, with his joy, with his happiness, that's when the doors will open.
I think another insecurity that a lot of people have is feeling that they are worthy, that they deserve financial security, financial peace, that they deserve multiple streams of income. They didn't really have a lot of role models from a financial space, so they can't even perceive or imagine, being in a place where they're good to the glory of God when it comes to so they struggle with feelings of worth and feelings of like, I deserve to be here. I deserve to have this business.
Yeah, and I agree. I think a lot of people, if you ask everybody who wants to be in that show, it says who wants to be a millionaire. Everybody wants to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to rob, but nobody wants to die. A lot of people give up everything for nothing. A lot of people in this world giving up everything for nothing. But when you got to get to a place where you're willing to give up everything for everything. And that's what takes you to that next level. So are you willing to downsize on your home? Are you willing to sell your car?
Yeah, what kind of sacrifice, right?
Yeah, what kind of sacrifice are you going to make? And so do you spend more time daydreaming about your dreams and aspirations, or are you actually making it your goal to fulfill them? And I think a lot of times people are dreaming about them, but they're not writing them down, and they're not moving. It's just there's no action taking place, and then that's when they fall short. So it's not that I look at some of the greatest people that I look up to that I look at as my mentors, male and female, and a lot of them come from humble beginnings, and so I think it all came down to willing to go through the pain before the promise. There's always pain before the promise, and nobody likes pain, but you're going to endure pain one way or another. Pain of regret or pain of the promise. It's one or the other. Right. And so you're going to endure it one way or another. It's just inevitable. You're going to endure some pain. And so you got to ask yourself, are you going to have the pain of regret? Or are you going to endure pain that's going to lead you to your reward?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No matter what you decide, there's pain involved.
It's tough.
No matter which way you choose. So for those that are in Wichita, are there any resources, any places that they should be aware of if they're trying to start a business?
SBA downtown. they're willing to open up their doors and provide mentorship and to guide you in any businesses that you may want to pursue here in Wichita. I would say that's the initial platform that I would encourage anybody to do. Um, Myself, I've never really dove into it so much. I built relationships with them. Um, I tell anybody, those that are looking to grow and to build relationships, is to join boards, to join clubs. If you want to be a part of something, get involved. And the more you get involved, the more you create a platform for who you are. And then in results, then you can build a greater platform for your business.
I love it. Relationships.
Relationships are key. I mean, I've got some amazing brothers and an amazing sister, and I tell you, man, they smarter than me.
Yeah.
They're more gifted than me in a lot. I mean, I can't sing. I got 2 left feet. I sound good in the shower, but I can't sing. I can't do the things that they can do. They're gifted. My sister, she's a smart one. So I'm blessed to have amazing brothers and sisters so I think they almost inspired me too, made me work harder because I had to work harder than most. And I think that's what makes it taste so good. Once I get to somewhere in life, it just makes it like when I work. I mean, I usually don't, unless I get tempted by one of my teammates around here that tries to tempt me with a great lunch. I usually don't eat at work. I'm grinding. That's my fulfillment. And so when I'm here at the office, I don't have time to eat. But Chick-fil-A sandwich is offered to me, so I had to turn it down. So nevertheless, though, I have to say that's really what it comes down to. I would encourage everybody, check out SBA, do your research. I mean, there is no excuse. There's any business you want to pursue, Google, 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 Google. There's no excuses now.
None. YouTube.
Oh, YouTube. Exactly. The platform is there. The platform's there. There's no excuse.
And the billions of people that are on social media. I mean, you get your stuff in front of the right eyes. It's not as hard these days.
Yeah, I tell everybody, education and exposure are your greatest opportunities in life. Education and exposure. Educate yourself on whatever platform that it is that you want to pursue. Become the best at it. Become the top 5 in the world at whatever it is you plan to pursue. And you'll never lose. And then we'll be willing to put yourself on a social platform, whether it's through social media, traveling, speaking, whatever the case may be, and expose yourself as much as possible. Because a lot of people have succeeded in life when they chose to expose themselves, and somebody was just waiting for them. They've been waiting. They had a check with just blank check, and they were just waiting to put a name on it. And all because you didn't want to position yourself because you said, man, you were just scared to leave your comfort zone. One thing I love about being blessed to be born and raised from amazing Wichita, Kansas, my goal and my sole goal is always to eliminate all the excuses that you got to leave Wichita to win.
Wow.
Humbly, I like to think I'm winning. And I love Wichita. I have no intent to leave. Will I travel? Will I have a home somewhere? Yes. But this is my home. I love it here.
I'm so glad you said that you are here literally to eliminate any excuses that anybody has in the city of Wichita, that it's possible. Like, if I could do it, you could do it. That's
exactly. I mean, I've been blessed to do a lot of traveling over the years. Thank God for my wife that pushed me from being a workaholic and make me get out here and travel. And I'll tell you, I've been blessed to be at beautiful places. And I'll tell you, they can have the big cities. I mean, you can have the big cities. I love them. I love to travel. I'll hang out there for a while, a week or two, but you can have it. I mean, I love Wichita.
Right. I appreciate that. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
So as I'm recapping, it sounds like what you're telling us to do, if we want to start a business tomorrow, you need to have something written down. There needs
Right.
to be a name. You need to have clarity on the service that you're providing. You
Your
need to
mission, your purpose.
purpose, your target audience, your demographics, do your research,
Your research.
build relationships. And I think those were the main ones that you hit. Oh, and manage your mindset. Overcome whatever negative mindsets that you may have that would be holding you back from pushing forward.
Yeah. So I've just finished a book. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. I think is a great read for everyone. And then there's a book I'm reading for the second time. It's called Cry Like a Man by James Wilson. And I think a lot of people just need to get to a place of healing from their past. So they're holding on to regrets. They're holding on to guilt. They're holding on to pain. They're holding on to so much. And you can't carry that with you to your future. The load's so heavy, you can't carry that in there, And so, because when you hold on to that, it keeps you in a dark place, and you trying to walk in the light, and you can't walk in the light with all that darkness bearing you down. And so I think that's the biggest thing where we got to get people to that mental health, where we raise the belief level of who we are and why we're here. And
get a counselor if you need to.
Right.
Go into therapy if you must. Get that mind right.
I encourage it.
Because your mind is really going to be a major part of running a business.
It is.
Yeah. Last question, how do you manage the critics? Do you even have critics? Or how do you manage the doubters and the people are like, why you, I'm sure, I don't know, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but can you speak to that?
I have.
Okay.
I have. And I'll tell you this. I think it's always been motivating for me.
Okay.
For some people, the ones closest to you, it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever hear them say that what you couldn't do or what you weren't going to become, I think that part hurts. Because you would think they're the ones that's going to believe in you the most. And so sometimes I think that's why it's okay to keep some of your dreams and your goals to yourself. Keep them to yourself. And sometimes I'm intentional, and somebody says, "Hey, why don't you share with me what you were doing?" And unless you're helping me write the business plan, you're playing a role in my marketing, my advertising, my websites. Helping me to launch, putting in some volunteer time, writing me a check to help this thing come to life. Sometimes it doesn't make sense for me to share with you. And so it's nothing personal, but sometimes it's okay to just keep that stuff to yourself sometimes.
Absolutely.
But then I love sometimes to say it out loud, because then, man, make yourself accountable to everybody. Anything in life. Hey, I'm going to lose 10 pounds this month. Hey, I'm about to start a business. Hey, I'm going to learn how to learn Spanish, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I had to put that plug on Spanish because that's what I'm working on right now.
That's what you're working on?
Yeah, and I kind of feel inconsistent these last 2 weeks, but I was doing good. I was doing good at first, but I'm bouncing back. I'm blessed to have some Hispanic brothers.
Okay.
And I'll be letting them know, listen, eventually I'm going to know what you're talking about.
Right. I love it. I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that this is going to be valuable for those that are tuning in. If they want to get in contact with you, if they want to reach you, what's the best way to go about that?
You can't. I'm playing. No. And I make myself available to any and everyone. And when I don't answer, please believe I'm on a conference call. If I don't answer, please believe I'm in a meeting. If I don't answer, please believe I might be sneaking in a power nap, or just playing catch up with my family time, because I am away from home a lot. But anyone that is intentional about getting a hold of me can get a hold of me. I miss phone calls and emails in this meeting, and that's okay. They just got to get caught up on later. So some people have to just know it's not always going to be, I can't always make myself available to you. But when I know that you're serious, man, I'll give you my time.
Exactly.
Don't come to me with a story.
Please,
Don't
God.
come to me with a boohoo situation. Come to me with a solution to your boohoo situation, and then I will listen.
Plan.
Come to me with a plan, and I'll listen. I say that to anybody. Even if you want to come work here for like, don't come to me with problems. You better come to me with a solution, or you need to leave my office.
I receive it. I hope you all have heard the disclaimer. With that in mind, if they want to get in contact with you with a plan, with intentionality, is there a way for them to reach you?
Right now, shoot me an email. I think that'd be best.
Right.
I can't handle all the phone calls right now. But hit me at www.lamontlove@lifeinc.org.
Okay.
And I will be sure to respond back to you. I'm quick on emails, faster than text messages.
Okay.
And then if I don't email you back, there's someone that will hold me accountable to making sure that I'll email you back.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank
Would
you.
you mind praying over this conversation and praying over the people that are listening?
Oh, yes. Hey, Commander of our life, Commander of this day, we want to thank you for the opportunity, Lord, to acknowledge you in everything that we say and do. For everything that we've accomplished, Lord, has only been through your grace and mercy. Lord, I want to thank you for Pastor Kim, Lord, leading her to me, that I was able to hopefully be a inspiration to those that are listening. And Lord, I speak blessings over them and their desires, Lord, that their desires are only to please you. And Lord, all the present entrepreneurs and the future entrepreneurs, Lord, that they will be blessed through this time and that their businesses will be greater. For this was COVID-19, it's not COVID-20. We're in 2020. We're walking in a great vision and we're walking in a great light, and the best is yet to come. And for that, we're going to say thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. God bless you, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until tomorrow, we'll see you for Bible study. Have a blessed day. God bless.
Take care.